Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip,
And I'm CJ.
and it is Friday in the Riv after the Tuesday bloodbath of the Dems, and they're out of control, pointing fingers at each other, stabbing each other in the back, calling everybody who voted for Trump every name in the book because they can't accept the reality of that they just are totally out of touch with the people. That's the thing, CJ. It's like they're still clueless. We've seen it before. So I'll tell you, don't. The Democratic Party, I heard a very good, somebody made a really good statement. I think it was Karl Rove yesterday. He said that the Democratic Party may not be viable for another 10 or more years if they don't get their heads out of their derrieres. Because they're so out of touch with the people. Now, we've seen it before. When parties go too far left or right, they normally self-correct. We saw what happened when the Democratic Party went so far left, they ran McGovern, and then they weren't viable, and they had to get more moderate and more realistic. And then when the Republican Party went so far right, we had Barry Goldwater, right? They had Barry Goldwater, and then they had to self-correct to the middle again, where normal people, most people are in the middle. They're not radical in either direction. As we've always said, radicalism in either direction is unacceptable. But these people, the people who are running the party, which ironically are a minority, have destroyed it. I mean, they're still so out of touch. They won't accept the fact that the American people are fed up with what they've done. They keep saying they're continuing to lie and blame each other. They're pointing fingers. They're stabbing. It's Biden's fault. It's their fault. It's this one's fault. It's nuts. So, hey, it's great. It's great to see. I love to watch this kind of carnage.
I hear you. Well, today they called Nevada, which was, good. Finally. And Arizona's still up in the air. Arizona has 11 electoral votes. And right now, Trump has 301 electoral votes. It's not like these are going to make a difference, but I think the number of electoral votes he receives is going to speak volumes to the Democratic Party.
You're right. It should. You're right. It should speak volumes, but apparently it's not.
I was trying to read that before I let a lot of it posted.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. And that's all they are. Did you see? I saw an excerpt from that disgusting program, The View, and they
said they were moving to Canada if Trump got elected. I'm waiting for them to leave.
But they're not going to. Look, they're all. It's just like Rob Reiner said he was going to burn himself, and somebody posted on Facebook they were going to go out and buy some marshmallows. He was going to set fire to himself. But on The View, one of them actually made sense. She was a Hispanic woman, and she said in a county in Texas, which is virtually 100% Latino or Hispanic or whatever, the ethnicity of a Latino, mostly Mexican, I'm assuming, which you shouldn't, but I'm saying mostly Mexican. Voted 75% for Trump, and they went batshit crazy. One of them started screaming, "It's misogyny! It's misogyny!" They voted 75% because they're misogynists. So I'm sure there are women in that county. That's exactly. It is disrespectful, and not only that. They're ignoring the fact that there's obviously women in that community too. But they call everybody, that's all they can do is name call and label. They can't face reality. Listen, I saw a statistic this morning from economists. They keep saying that the economy is getting better. Well, getting better from where they put it. It's not better. They said when Trump was in, the low-wage earners' income went up 8.5%. Under the 4 years of Biden-Harris, low wages have actually been reduced 1.5%. That's a 10-point swing. Yet they're still trying to lie to people and cry all the night, all of the evening. Hosts were crying. But I mean, I thought that was bizarre. Gee, immediately, their fallback position is to say, you're misogynist, you're racist. Now you even got black people calling them racist and misogynists. What's his name? Al Sharpton, that race beta, called all the Latinos and all the blacks who voted for Trump racist misogynists. Before, they only called white people racist. Now you got black leftists calling them black people racist, Latinos racist. Everybody that doesn't agree with them is a racist. That's right. Look, he put together, you're right. I'm glad somebody's paying attention, Facebook, but apparently they don't know that Trump had the most diverse voter base in the history of American elections. He got more Latino votes, more black votes. The only demographic he didn't are college-educated women, suburban women, who were all the elitists. Do you know that Georgetown University, in case you don't know where that is, that's in Washington, of course, which is 99.9% Democrat, D.C., not the state, which is also blue. Today they set up a Lego station. That's what I said, Lego. That's what kids play with because they're like children now. The college students are like children in these wokey colleges. They set up a Lego station and they're providing them with milk. I'm serious. With milk and cookies so they can grieve. And a lot of the other colleges, professors at Harvard are calling off classes so everybody can cry and grieve. You know, it shows how fundamentally racist, elitist, and out of touch they are. Because they can't accept the fact that the American people spoke. And a very large, it was a blowout. It wasn't close. It was a bloodbath. And then now they're saying it's because she was a woman. Well, she's a woman. No, she was a pathetic candidate. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And this is nuts. They just can't accept reality. And if that left-wing party continues to control the Democratic narrative, which they are, this party will be dead. They will win in the pockets of blue states. And while we're on that disgusting governor of ours, I saw an interview with her this morning that said if Trump begins the deportation that 70% of the Americans want and asks her to use the state police to assist, she is going to refuse. So when you pay your taxes, when your taxes go up, remember, she's spending billions of dollars on illegals, and now she's refusing to get people who are in this country illegally out of this country. She's going to deny the President of the United States assistance from the state police. Massachusetts better wake up. For once, Fall River led the pack. We voted for Trump. The rest of the state has got to dump this loser that we got. CJ, you're muted. You're muted, CJ.
Like I said, God forbid, Massachusetts needs some help from the president. and the president turns around and says, I asked you for help and you said no. You're on your own. Oh, you need money for a new bridge? You're on your own. Okay? Oh, you need money for your CSO projects? You're on your own. They don't understand the effects that this man can have on an economy in a state. This state already gave the great big finger to the president. Like they always do. They're a blue state, they're going to be a blue state. Okay? But Fall River was a purple city. Remember that. Fall River was a purple city. Acushnet was a purple city. Acushnet, 72% of the voting in Acushnet went for Trump.
Well, technically we were red because Trump did actually win the city. It wasn't.
That's right.
But kind of pinkish, not really red. So we'll give them pinkish. But yeah, well, these people, they just can't accept it. So how are we going to fix the country? That's the problem that I have with this whole scenario. We cannot fix this country. That's right. Coogan's next because he's doing exactly what these people, they ignore the reality.
Just so you know, Chip, Facebook user, for some reason it's coming up that way, is actually Jeffrey Goodrow. I had to go do some research.
Oh, okay. Good, Jeff. You're right. But do you know how out of touch these people are? We're not going to fix the country if they refuse to try to help it. They want to keep their radical policies and radicalism. Do you know Morning Joe, that pathetic, useless, on that pathetic, useless station that nobody watches, basically proved how out of touch they are. You know what he did yesterday? I saw the video. He was trying to explain this away now, of course. Well, it's the economy. And he said, I ran into somebody who was a Democrat, and he said they were voting for Trump because butter is $3. And
where they get butter for $3? I want to go there.
Well, this is the thing. This is how out of touch these rich elitists are. He doesn't do his own shopping. They don't care. They fly above inflation because they're all rich, the rich elitists. And these other idiots that follow them don't realize it. His wife, who's his co-host, said, it's $7.
Yeah, exactly.
And he went, what? She said, it's not $3, it's $7. And his answer to that was, well, what is it? Wrapped in gold? No, it's wrapped in democratic incompetence. They're the ones who created this mess. That's why the people of this country voted against them. All types, all colors, all races, all creeds. Trump had inroads in the Jewish vote, inroads in the Arab vote, inroads in every demographic. The people are fed up of getting shit on. They're tired of it. They're tired of us getting our water rates put up 23% while Coogan makes all his friends rich. Coogan is a mini Biden, and he should be next. People in Fall River that voted for Trump got to remember you can't vote for Paul Coogan because it's like voting for Kamala and Joe. Because this is what he's done in the city of Fall River. But I mean, these people are nuts. They can't accept it. They're going crazy. I got people are sending me videos of people, crying into pillows. And it's like, oh, what terrible thing is he going to do? Close the border? Fix our economy? Help people have more money to pay their bills? All these horrible, horrible things. No, he's going to put us in internment camps. He's going to execute everybody. No, you're the people that are saying you're going to set fire to yourself and you're going to, leave. Leave. You multimillionaire billionaires don't care about any of the things that affect regular people. And the people finally had it up to here with you. And exercised their right. What we've been saying on our show for 14 years. We can control our government. We can fix these things if we vote And we only had, what, 49%, CJ?
That's right.
And look at the effect it had. Imagine if we had 90% of these people that sat on their ass. You'd never see these people in the council shitting all over you, with the exception of Michelle most of the time, approving 23% increases in your water rates, approving all kinds of reckless spending by Coogan, all kinds of pay raise. The city's broke, but I'm still giving out pay raises, everything else, all the things he's done. I mean, I don't care who runs next time. I'm voting for him. Hopefully we'll get a viable candidate. Hopefully we'll get a candidate that will say, we're going to fix this. Yeah. Well, number one, she is not Trump. She was right on 1 out of 2. And he didn't tell her. But she did not grow up in a middle-class family, contrary to the lies that she tells all the time.
That comment there.
A lot of her childhood in Montreal, Canada, in the most affluent neighborhood in Montreal. And if you've ever been to Montreal, it has some pretty affluent neighborhoods.
The comment that's up on the screen right now is being made by Linda Mead. And this comment here was made by Patrick Higgins. I don't know what happened, why it's only coming up as Facebook user. I got to get a hold of tech support and find out.
Yeah, divorce him. Yeah, you're right. You guys are right. But listen, see, the thing is, you're realistic. You realize that the people who voted, they're not massage. Then all these labels, they love to call everybody names. CJ and I are used to it. We were called misogynists and every other thing under the book when we got the capital punishment of being thrown off BCC's wokey out of their studio. But listen, never mind name call. Biden ran, I'm going to bring this country together. He divided it more than any other president in history. Trump says he wants to put the country together again, but they're not going to. The radicals are going to refuse again. You're going to have governors like Pritzker, Maura Healey, Gavin Newsom already gearing up to fight every single thing that he's going to try. And how can we bring the country together? I just got a text from one of our regular viewers who said Mark Wahlberg's new Mexican restaurant went up in flames before its opening, I guess. I didn't finish. I can't finish it, but that was because Wahlberg, I guess, is a Republican. He supported Trump to a degree, and this is crazy. That's a crock. Number one, Trump has said he has nothing to do with it, doesn't know about it, and he's not going to be bound by that. Listen, these people love to lie. He's going to ban abortions. You can't do that. The Supreme Court already turned it over to the states, you morons. They already turned it over to the state. If he tries to do that, they'll go to court. The Supreme Court will overturn it. They already made a decision. They said it's states' rights. Let them decide. So if you got a bitch, you got to bitch with your own governor. So Pritzker is going to give you what you want. Healey's going to give you what you want. Newsom's going to give you what you want. And there's no governor in the United States that's going to eliminate abortion. They might put conditions on it. But it's got nothing to do with the presidency. These people they're pathological liars. All they do is blame. Like I said, that woman it was bizarre on The View. There's a Latino telling her this county is 100% basically, 99.9%. And they voted 75% for Trump. They're misogynists. So I guess they have a 75-25 split between men and women in that county, which I don't believe. But these people are nuts. They just can't accept it. They're far left-wing people. It's like far right-wing people. You can't convince an American Nazi Party member to try to come together and treat everybody equally. They're too far. You can't convince a far left wacko that anybody that doesn't have their opinion isn't some kind of category that they create. Racist, misogynist, homophobe, whatever, these people, they can't run a government. See, the moral to this story is they can't be allowed to run a party or a government. Otherwise, they become irrelevant. Like when McGovern ran, he was too far left. They had to self-correct. When Goldwater ran, he was too far right. The Republican Party had to self-correct. Donald Trump has created a new party. The Republican Party, and CJ was a Republican. He can speak to this. It's no longer the Republican Party of old. Donald Trump has created a populist people party. The Republican Party has now become what the Democrats claimed to be, but weren't. The people of the working class. As a former Republican, CJ, when I want to comment on that?
Well, I'll tell you now, when I ran as a Republican, the Republican Party did nothing to support my candidacy. Okay? They didn't give me help with advertising. They didn't give me help with anything. And they had a set line of talking points that you had to use, whether you believed in them or not. The party in Massachusetts is weak, and it always has been weak. And I don't see that changing anytime soon unless the voters decide that it's time to make significant changes in state government, including term limits. And for a judge to turn around and say, well, if you want term limits, you have to have it put into the Constitution, and you have to get your elected officials to have that constitutional convention to make it happen. How are you going to get an elected official to create term limits when that would reduce their power, reduce their pay, reduce their ability? It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And that, I firmly believe that judge circumvented the rights of the voters and the rights of the people.
No, you're right, CJ. And as a matter of fact, that judge was appointed probably by a Democrat.
Most likely.
Well, 99.9%. But look, this is the problem. Trump has redefined it. When you were a Republican running, you were not a radical Republican. You were a moderate kind of. You were somebody who was kind of like you were ahead of your time. You were kind of a Trump Republican. You were kind of a populist, and you are a populist.
That's right.
I'm part of the new
populist party.
No, but the thing is, Trump has changed this, and
that's right.
The bottom line is what Trump proved is it's not a party that has to change. It's the people's idea of the party, the perception. A party has to conform with what the people want, and Trump turned the Republican Party into a party of the working class, and they will continue to be that as long as they do what Trump did, which is go to the barbershops, go to the factories, go to even the blue cities and tell them, I feel your pain. I know how it is. He took Pennsylvania, a massive blue collar state. And he took it in spite of the fact that they were saying that Shapiro had a lockdown, that he was the most popular governor in history in Pennsylvania. Well, he couldn't deliver his own state. So his credibility is now impugned because he's a partisan. He made a commercial for Kamala. These people lie, but that's the problem. You can't we're never going to fix this as long as these lunatics on the left run a Democratic Party, because they're already gearing up to block everything he does.
Oh, I remember that statement. This is Linda that's making this comment.
Yeah. Well, how about Tim Walz, Linda? If anybody ever mocked it, if that's what you call mocking it by waving your arms, Tim Walz is the worst in history, but now he's irrelevant. Yeah, well, how many times have they edited, dubbed, and changed? Well, they admitted it. They said that 100% of the left-wing media coverage has been anti-Trump.
This comment's from David Mead.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to look at. He did it before. We had a 1.9 or 1.2, depending on which economist you look at, below 2% inflation rate with him. We were, butter wasn't $7. Now I'm glad Morning Joe finally figured that out, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. Imagine if the Republicans would have tried to have a coup on Donald Trump, because a lot of the old guard of the Republican Party, who some of them like Liz Cheney, they would have done anything to get him out. But fortunately, they're not as radical. Most of the Republicans aren't as radical. They realized that Trump had something that nobody else had. He had the people in his corner. You could tell by those rallies. And I loved X. Did you ever go on X? It's hysterical. They used to be on it, they had people going on saying, Trump's rallies are empty, there's nobody there. I mean, it's hysterical how much they lie and manipulate fact. You're right. They did everything they could to misrepresent what Trump said, and everything they did everything to cover up what their people said. Their disdain for regular people. Their disdain for regular people. As soon as you don't do what they tell you, you're garbage, you're deplorable, you're irredeemable, you're just clinging to your gun and your Bible, you're a misogynist, every kind of phobe you can be, you're everything. You're worthless to them, because you have two parts of the Democratic Party now that are making noise: the rich and the stupid. And when you go to college, you become brainwashed. Most of these colleges. Yeah, that's right. She said no. I saw it. I saw the video. I saw the interview. She was asked, Will you give him the state police to assist? She said, absolutely not. No, I'm going to keep these illegals in here. I'm going to give them free shit while we pay more taxes, while we have people that can't afford their rent, while we have no affordable housing in Florida to any degree, while Paul Coogan keeps building housing for rich people and supporting illegals. That's why he's got to go. This is why 1,100 people a month were moving out of Massachusetts. I mean, they're showing their true colors by not accepting it. Just remember something. We have to remember history. If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. Remember, when Biden ran, he said he was going to bring everybody together. And then he started dividing the country. Everybody, you're garbage, you're fascists, they're Nazis, they're MAGA, extreme MAGA Republicans are dangerous. They're really dangerous. Extreme Make America Great people are dangerous people. The great divider he became, even though he ran, on bringing us together. And now those same people want to continue to divide us. They had 3 governors already say they're going to fight him tooth and nail on everything he does, even so they don't care. They don't want to close the border. These people are radicals. They should not be representing the Democratic Party. They should not be in office. And shame on their states for electing them. They get what they deserve. Newsom's calling an emergency session of his legislature to try to pass all kinds of laws to protect everything. He doesn't care that what's California? $600 billion in the hole with all the crap programs they got. But they did vote by 70% to stop prosecuting crime, not letting people steal $999 worth of shit before you prosecute them. They did get rid of the most liberal DA in the United States, Gascon, by a very large margin. They booted him. Even people in California, to agree, are getting fed up. But there's still a lot of rich elitists, a lot of rich people in California. And they're insulated from this stuff. But the people are fed up. But they won't give up because they're radicals. The only way you're ever going to see them disappear is by making them irrelevant, making them, they don't run the party. If the Democratic Party ever wants to become a viable party again, they're going to have to move toward the middle again and tell these people, shut up and go, and you're not going to tell us how to run the party. Yeah, several gunshots. Wasn't there a stabbing also?
Yeah.
On locally? Yeah. Yeah, but this is, it's tragic. They don't care if their country is destroyed. They're going to keep this divisive, or if you want to be an elitist, divisive narrative up. They're going to try to push in their state so they can keep power in their state. They know they've lost the country. That's a very good question. That's a very, very good question. I don't know. I have my theories. I mean, I know Newsom's going to try to run. Shapiro definitely will try to run. Whitmer will probably. They will have a pretty large field during the preliminary nomination process, I think. Who knows? Even Hochul might run. Who knows? The squirrel. I don't know. She might run too. She was another one that went on TV saying we're going to fight Trump tooth and nail. Well, you're going to fight what? Fixing the economy? You're going to fight closing the borders? You're going to fight making our electric bills, our heating bills lower? Well, go ahead, fight it. And if the idiots in your state want to elect you, you'll never ever win another national election.
Well, what I think was interesting was the fact that they said that the reason why Trump took Pennsylvania was because they didn't select Shapiro as the vice presidential candidate. That made absolutely no sense, but that's what the Democrats are saying.
Yeah. Well, they got an excuse for everything, CJ. You know that. I mean, when you tell them 75% of the people in a border community that's being overrun by illegals only voted for Trump because they were misogynists, you know that they're grasping at straws.
Right. This is Trump's last term. I'm answering this question. He will only be able to serve this one term as president. And then we're looking probably at J.D. Vance coming in and running for president.
Yeah. You can only serve 8 years. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be consecutive either. You can't serve more than 8 years as president.
That's true.
No, you're right. And that's fundamentally what they do. They're still yelling it after the election. They're still saying he's going to take away all our rights. He's going to throw us all in jail. Well, half of you do belong in jail because of what you did to him. But he's not going to do that. He's got He's got too much. He's got too much carnage to undo. He's got to rebuild this country. They've destroyed. Do you know there's still 500 people that are unaccounted for in North Carolina? They don't care. Where's FEMA? They just said, I saw something that was horrifying. Do you know FEMA didn't answer 50% of the calls they got for assistance during a hurricane? Yeah. And I know what that acronym stands for. And I agree. Look, these people are divisionists. They understand a very simple remember the old adage, people should remember this is what they practice. Divide and conquer. They understand that if they divide us into little groups, they will win. That's what they've done. That's how they got Biden in. Divide and conquer. Turn everybody into a label group. Oh, you're black, you're Hispanic, you're this, you're not a Christian, you're this, you're that, and make them all war against each other. That's why we have the two adages, united we stand, divided we fall. Divide and conquer. Those two, that's the two strategies. United we stand and we win. Divided we fall. The Democrats are divisionists. This is what they've done. They divide you and then they conquer you. They divide all the poor people, let them fight each other, and then they get rich on us. Just like Paul Coogan and his friends, my banker friends, my developer friends, my lawyer friends, all my friends that got money like I do now for doing nothing. Just like they're still out of touch with what the American people want. Paul Coogan walked around for 30 years in an educational environment out of touch with reality. He lived in the academic bubble like the college professors do. They live in a theoretical world. Then he went home, cashed his paycheck, which was pretty healthy, and lived a nice life. He didn't have to interact with regular people. He was playing around with the kids. And now he's running the city the same way. He's going to be a millionaire. He wants a fourth term so he can make nearly $1 million as the mayor. Do the math. 120 grand a year. 4 years. He's going to be just a little short of $1 million. And I'm sure his banker friends, his developer friends gave him a few places to invest his money, like Pelosi and everybody else. I'm sure he's pretty rich. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a heck of a nomination where the Democrats have virtually nobody. Their bench is weak. Oh, I think they know that if, people are, and that's the thing. They better shake in their boots if they're not. They might say, well, they're going to forget by next year. But the problem is, when you got people like Paul Coogan and you got governors like Maura Healey, they're going to keep this state the same way it's been with Biden and Harris if they have their way. So whoever runs against them should be pointing out, just like Trump did, that they're responsible. Remember, Pat Haddad's gone. Schmid backed out. He wouldn't run because he knew he was toast, because he almost lost the previous election. Those two were on a hit list, and they better realize it.
I have a question for you, Chip. Is Paul's terms in office bumping up his pension even though he's retired?
No.
So the new law doesn't apply to him?
No. I mean, it may. I don't know. That's a very good question, CJ. That law that they passed, and Alan was there right there, so he could bump up his pension. Who knows? They may allow him to apply that, and if that's the case, but I don't know if it would affect it that much anyway. Because remember, he may have been making more as the vice principal of Durfee than he is as the mayor. CJ.
True.
Because most principals are making over $100,000, right?
Right.
So the vice principal of
But
Durfee.
you got to remember, he comes from a long time back before they were making $100,000.
No, but he was still there when they were making pretty good money. He hasn't been gone that long.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. He probably is only making like 70 or 80 grand. I mean, who the hell? What the hell? Well, he's only making 3 or 4 times the average per capita income in Fall River. So he's a pauper. Now, I know that would affect Alan Sylvia a lot because he got off decades and decades ago on a disability pension. And although he does get increments, his pension would be much, much higher. But again, they're taking care of themselves. And look, like I said, he's going to be well over $1 million. He could have banked the whole thing and lived on his pension. And I'm sure they made investments. That's what they all do. But they're in trouble this time. These people are in trouble because they want to keep Massachusetts and Rhode Island but the blue wall in Middle America crumbled. I mean, the blue wall wasn't cracked. It was bulldozed. Trump leveled that blue wall. There's
still hope for Massachusetts. There's still hope.
Yeah, there's still hope. Well, hey, look, for one time we got to applaud Fall River. Trump won. He almost won the previous election. He got 48%. But we voted for Donald Trump. We were ahead of our time.
That's right.
People were finally getting fed up. And remember, 49% turnout too. And he still won. So enough of the people are pissed off. If they show up in the next election, bye-bye council, bye-bye school committee, and bye-bye Coogan. And that's what should happen. They should all go, fetch bye-bye, except for people who earn their vote. I mean, there are people who earn your vote. We've always been, I'm not the bulldoze everybody. We have people who earned your vote. Michelle Dion fights for us every time she walks into that council chamber. Colin Dyers, Kevin Aguiar on the school committee, they fight. They fight about money. They fight about the people. They fight about working conditions. They fight about things. So those people, in my opinion, and it's my opinion, and you're entitled to yours, have earned your vote. The ducks, the quackers, like ducks imprint with the mother or whoever walks by them at first and they follow. Those ducks, we're going to call them ducks. That's our new nickname. That follow the mayor with everything, or follow the thing in the school committee and on the city council should be gone. They should.
I agree. There's no question about it. Well, this has been a very interesting show. I will tell you right now, and we didn't really focus too much on local stuff, but we did focus on information that's important. So I want to thank you for watching. Remember, Monday is a holiday. It is Veterans Day. Please don't go around saying Happy Veterans Day to people. I find that to be very disrespectful for what the holiday is about. It's just like people saying Happy Memorial Day. That's very disrespectful for what it's about. It's about remembering our veterans, remembering the price they paid, and please, please, please be sure to get out there and thank your veterans that are alive, and be sure that they take respect from you, and they will take the respect they deserve. I want to remind you about that. I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Monday. Have a good weekend. And remember, it's going to be cold.